listening to an old album, a mix that I created, and thought I would make use of my camera since there's not too much else to be done, and try this wine that I bought. $4 bottle of wine, so it's hard to say. I'm excited. Nice glass of wine. That's actually good. That was worth that much money. There's a lot of flavor to it, and it is sweet like it says. 2009 red wine. Maybe it's just mixing well with my toothpaste, I'm not sure. But it does indeed taste good. Yeah, I'm probably gonna feel that. What was it? 11.5%. I really don't drink all that much, so I just wanted to, the purpose of the general guideline of the discussion that I might bring up during this video is just, whatever comes to mind. It's, well, I think I might as well talk about myself, since I'm the only one here. And, I mean, you could do whatever the hell you want when you have your camera. You can simply make a video to observe yourself, or you could do something like a really intense, energetic video, which is what it seems to be nowadays. Yeah, I guess it always has been, really. When people get on film, they like to stay on top of things. But, I mean, what's wrong with just observing someone, however they're feeling, truly as themselves? Maybe it's boring, I don't know. It's just kind of my life. It's a little bit slower paced. And I also wanted to maybe reminisce about the past. But I shall first have this smoke. It's good for thinking, unhealthy of course. So, I'm just gonna say ahead of time that if you're gonna watch this whole video, well, whether you do or not doesn't matter. But don't be expecting a whole lot of energy or enthusiasm. I just don't feel like doing it. Projecting out all that emphasis and wasting my own energy. So, I do that a lot. I'm good at projecting out energy. not a problem. Sometimes I do it too much. And other times when I get slowed down or depressed, my energy level is at a point where it, along with my being depressed, they must be interconnected. I'm sure it's just one or it affects the other and the other. Some people say I have mood swings, crazy mood swings. It's not really the case so much. It's just that I can see people, and I just wonder sometimes, like, what the hell, man, are you thinking? And why do you, maybe you're not paying attention to the subtle details of what I'm expressing, but you just don't seem to comprehend it. I maybe don't care about a certain thing that you're saying just because I'm not in your mood right now. I don't feel good, maybe. So, in that case, perhaps don't have sympathy for me. Just be sympathetic for the fact that I'm not as energetic or as enthusiastic, as happy about life in general at that time. Caffeine is good for that. Caffeine's good for a lot of things, and it can be dangerous in large amounts. I've heard that it can cause psychosis in large amounts. It definitely can cause a lot of stress if you drink too much at one time. But it's good for a certain amount of conversation. I mean, it will give you the ability to conversate for sure. But if you conversate too much or get really into it or happy about the fact that you have the ability to conversate and continue to do so to a point, you will eventually run out of energy and be a little worse off than you were before that. Caffeine is good for energy exchanges. Just something, it must stimulate something. Definitely it increases your sensitivity and maybe your awareness of self. It helps you concentrate, focus. That would be it. It helps you focus. Oh yeah. This wine is good indeed. I don't think the whole thing over. No, I don't think that will. I think that needs that much. So, the purpose of the video, as has been mentioned before, and will not be discussed again, other than the fact that I'm feeling good about that. I'd like to keep it at a more of an honest representation of my current state. It's not always good to allow yourself to go too far into a relaxation and feel like you don't have to get up out of bed. You don't have to concentrate. You don't have to do anything. Just sit back. You can't always feel good, that's for sure. idea to just be aware that there are other times. And when they come, it will be worth what you went through. I was thinking, I like this song, Death, a Great Adventure, part of the mix. Hopefully we can eventually leave our issues in the past, and that's another thing. Be at peace with the fact that we're going to die. It may be hard to do. A while back, I heard that from Melanie. Yeah, Melanie. A nice friend that I sat with on many different occasions, along with Jennifer, during our lunch, breakfast sometimes, and dinner in the Warren State Hospital. I was really lucky to have those two girls to sit with, because they were both really, they were good looking, and they were, especially Melanie, she was like, she was kind of like me in the sense that she was sensitive to things, and also, maybe, whatnot, and, but I think it was a nice experience doing that. The State Mental Hospital. I might as well just have stayed there, because even though I'm glad I got out and I wouldn't go back, having nothing else to do but sit in your room or talk with your friends, no outside world, no possibility of going outside, and things like that. No drugs except the caffeine that we smuggled in and got caught with on many different occasions. It was easy to connect with yourself. I wrote a lot of poetry while I was there. But I will say that the mental hospital, in general, is flawed due to the fact that people really don't care about you. And professionally, I think that they maybe should care. As a professional, they should probably try to ask you questions and get to know you and see what your problem is. Maybe even give you advice as a counselor to try to help you through things. But when you're in a place like a mental hospital, you don't have a life other than the hospital, so I don't really think that they can maybe even give you much directive on how to live, because you simply don't live most of the time, only in secrecy and against the rules of caffeine. But I did meet a good friend, Billy Schultz. I had other good friends like Jason Soltis, and Adam Morgan, Sadie, Jane, and I think those were the main ones. There were some interesting people there. Oh, Dan Jackson's cool. I like talking to him. He's a very I like his voice. It's got a focus, and I like hearing that. You know, people are actually focused in life, and he's nice to talk to. I don't talk to him as much as I should, probably. So maybe I have your attention, perhaps not. But I don't think anyone's hearing me. I actually have tested this lot. Sorry. No, I've tested the audio and stuff. At one point I had some speakers, but I spilled some stuff on the speakers or on the amplifier, and kind of now it's very quiet. Kind of sucks. I was really enjoying that music with those speakers. But amplifiers are expensive. Especially the one I had probably would have been a few $100s. I got it for free at the personal care home. Someone left it behind in a box. And now I think it must just be the tilt of the chair, but seems like maybe I should be drinking more wine. It does feel good, man. Just to sit back and fucking talk about some things, you know? Or you do not. Regardless, it's my video. You're welcome to watch it. Perhaps you will like me as a person. Maybe not. But aside from all that, one issue that it will continue to be an issue unless you address the issue. And it's not an issue, it's actually a good thing. Can be a good thing. A lot of people take it differently, but have the condition. See, you don't need to smoke weed, just do something legal like drinking some liquor or wine, some red wine. And I have to say that this actually is better than the what is it, 5 liter or something, 3 liter box of wine for $15. I paid $3 for this, or $4 or something. I don't know. $3.99, I think. It's a little bit thicker. So this album is a 77-minute album that should fit onto a CD should I ever buy some blank CDs. I entitled it Back Through Filth and Forth. It's got Cradle of Filth, Demon Gear, and Satyricon on it. Yeah, that was a good amount of wine. I might like to sit down, but my camera has doesn't seem to encompass the sitting position. And it's not my original intention to do so. But I think a cigarette would help. As you can see, it must have been the angle of the chair that was causing that to slide on the table. should have hobbies. Anyone should have a nice hobby that they can really get into. And I had some good hobbies and things. I think video games, and I hate to say it because I really do enjoy playing sometimes and getting away and just really getting lost and stuff. But the fact is that you're staring at a screen, and it's a very bright screen. It's probably damaging your eyes. It's really not good because you're not getting a social interaction with people. They're probably not a good thing to do all the time. Yeah, it's just something I did when I was young. Especially, I think I started playing video games around 4 years old. And music is very good. I would think that you should probably, really want to get into metal, which is what we're listening to right now. I don't know. I think you can probably hear some of it. Take a nice metal album, or something similar that has a nice dark tone to it. Take it and put it on your cell phone, MP3 player, CD player. Ah, yes, a CD player. Mr. Sean Hellman mentioned the fact that a CD player is a better idea, and it's true. It's a simple thing. There's no fucking screen to look at. You don't have to go through options and shit. You can simply put in the CD and press play, and you got the fucking you got the whole album, man. And that's what you should listen to at one time. This whole album, because the artist put a lot of work, I'm sure, the artists, the musicians, into their album, and I think that they probably arranged the songs in the order that they would find to express the greater point of the album. Anyways, take that album, or whatever you're listening to on your cell phone. It's not a bad thing if you have a cell phone. It's actually easier, in a sense. I just have a certain recent aversion to looking at a screen. And take a nice walk at night. Maybe down a nice dark road that leads into a forest, a dirt road perhaps even. By yourself. Don't take anyone with you because it should be your thing by yourself. And if you have someone with you, you're going to be talking to them, I'm sure. It's just our culture is to converse and have a conversation. It wasn't always the case, especially with that of the Quakers or whatever they don't remember. It was a while back when I heard about that. Some people don't have to talk all the time, but in general, at least in my friends, or when you're on the phone, you should probably try to keep the conversation going, but go out there by yourself and really take in the scenery and the nature. It's my best advice for really enjoying an album. And if you were to do that, I would recommend the Spiritual Black Dimensions by Demi Borgir. And there's a few Cradle albums, the older ones, like Midian is a good album. Probably my favorite Cradle album. And From Darkness Triumphant by Demi Borgir is another good one for that. It's kind of a magical thing. I might recommend also taking a joint with you. And once you get away from everyone smoking it, it's really a spiritual thing. It's a magical, spiritual experience that you can only have when you're by yourself. So don't take anyone with you, at least a few times. I hope I pressed that record button. That would be funny if I didn't. Yeah, I turned up the heat a bit. It's getting a little warm. This is from the Spiritual Black Dimensions. Very nice song. Wrong words perhaps for it, you know. However you're listening to it, so decide for yourself. I was gonna bring in some poetry, but yeah, I will have to make another video sometime where I recite some poetry. That's my hobby. That's what I take seriously. When I write my poetry, I get very serious about it. I approach it as if perhaps I was a minister, and I was speaking to my congregation. Something to be a concept, maybe, or an influence. Also a relation of my personal viewpoints or experience. Poetry is an excellent thing. Sadie mentioned that it is a purifying thing, and it does help. It helps because not only does it sometimes get it out, in a sense, vocalizing it makes it even better, but also if you can just sit down and really connect with yourself sometimes, it's a good thing to do. Because if you're always out with people, you never sit down, you're just kind of like lost in all that chaos, and it's not good, obviously. This is not a good video to involve the condition or the other topics that I'd like to cover. Because I just wanted to make something that maybe you would see me and maybe you'll judge me in a sense or form an opinion on me. You don't have to really get too in-depth or like everything I say. That's all up to you. I don't care what you think in that sense, because I don't want to make it like I'm perfect towards you. And I'm sure I don't look like that since I've been drinking. But there are other topics I'd like to discuss, and I will in the future. My YouTube channel. That's a good thing, isn't it? Have a YouTube channel, say whatever you want. That's what I'm thinking is a nice joke. If marijuana were legal, I might smoke it. I would probably feel good. A little more weight. Yeah, I could just be that it's warm in here. Yeah, I turned that heater up quite a bit. I was fucking cold earlier. So we've got about 77 minutes total in the video that I'm thinking might happen, which is the duration of this album aforementioned. So many options, you know, there's so many different people that you could show your video to, and so there's a lot of different things you could change even if you wanted to within that person. That's another thing I would mention is some people have said that besides my mood swings and things, I have a split personality, and I don't find that entirely to be the case. Not that I would say that a person mentioning that it's a bad thing, because it's true that it seems like I have different personalities. In truth, because I'm good at projecting my energy, I can do it in different ways. And that is one thing I wanted to mention. That when Moses, according to the Bible, was speaking to, well, some people say Jehovah, some people say Yahweh, and I've even heard other people say other things. I'm not sure where they get it from. In truth, there's a tetragrammaton. It's just a translation, because Hebrew is written in consonants. The vowels were excluded because they were simply understood. The meaning of God's name, however it is correctly pronounced, is I shall prove to be what I shall prove to be. And I like that. I like that sentence, I shall prove to be what I shall prove to be. Because that gives you a lot of options. Not only does it say you don't have to be anything in specific, it says that you will be what you will be when you're in that time. And it doesn't give many details as to what that is. It's really a beautiful thing to me, because that's the way I like to live my life. In the sense that I don't like to make too many permanent statements about my own personality, and just take it as it happens, you know, and decide in the moment. And the moment itself is a beautiful thing. I wrote a poem once called The Mortal Moment. Poetry indeed is a beautiful thing. It's quite fucking temperate in here. But it's alright, really. I like the cold because it really does, it kind of mellows you out in a certain sense. If you come from a hot place like I'm at right now and you walk out into a fucking cold, barren winter landscape with nothing but a shirt on like this, maybe like 40 degrees, say, and you take a nice 2 or 3 mile walk, you have to adjust yourself. You have to really get into the cold, take it in and become part of it. And it's a very relaxing thing. I don't know if it's damaging or anything, but I know it feels good. and I don't feel like I've been damaged from doing it. But you, in doing it, you have to kind of make peace with yourself and become in tune with the fact that you're out there in the cold. That's like taking that walk. If you do take that walk that I mentioned, you're going to have to make peace with yourself in a certain sense, and you're also going to have to let certain things go. Because of the fact that you can't see what's out there. If you're walking down a dark dirt road in the middle of the night, you have no fucking clue what's around you. And if you're listening to music, that's even more the case. You just kind of have to take the chance that maybe there's a dark entity out there. Maybe there's a person out there. Who knows what the fuck is out there? And you really just have to enjoy it as the fact that it's dangerous, in that sense that you have no clue what you're walking through, is kind of, it's very exhilarating if you can get into the music that you're listening to. If you like being afraid, that is, and certain types of fear are good. Other types, no. You shouldn't try to scare someone, but if you walk out there and you're ready to take on something, you'll do good, I think. Something even more intense is walking right into the woods themselves in the middle of the night by yourself. Yeah, people do it. People do walk out there, especially hunters and things. And I have to respect the fact that they do that. And I do it myself. But also, I've even heard them mention the fear and exhilaration of doing so. So yeah, that's one fun thing if you're ready to take on something spiritual and dark, exhilarating, new, maybe even. Let us digress from that topic and have a smoke. Not even fucking with it. No, but you shouldn't try to make everyone fit into your life, because there's always going to be someone that doesn't like you. It's hard to deal with sometimes. It's nice to think that you could make everyone get along with you and things. Fact of the matter is, some people are rude. They don't care. They have their own agenda. They like to fucking diss people that have something that maybe you have. And there's other things too. I mean, people really do have issues with themselves. The word fake, I mean, what does that mean? I'm not sure. again, there's a lot of things I'd like to discuss, and I will do so in future videos. I haven't gotten any text. Nicotine is a dangerous thing. It's an unhealthy indulgence. But sometimes when you're drinking, especially, the room that you're seeing is my room. This is my place. This isn't the exact room that I mentioned in my last poem. But it's my place, so I'll do whatever the hell I want. And like I said, you're free to judge me, or even close the video, if it suits you. But, I kind of, in a sense, would like to be seen and known about. I have no clue if you're going to, or if I have even, regarding the video. Can't help the fact that I see minute details of things. Reminds me of the lightning. One time I was walking in a nice storm, a very good storm, and I was kind of hoping to grasp something like a great concept, maybe at the same time that I was struck by lightning, or that lightning happened to strike somewhere else. And I did actually have a really good concept that I grasped, and lightning did strike just a couple seconds later. I was happy that it wasn't exactly on time, or that the lightning wasn't on me, but, whatever. Where's my lighter at? I think I will turn down the heat a bit so that I can enjoy this wine properly. Yeah, it's a little warm in here. Come on in, cold air. Come in and refresh this smoky fucking atmosphere. There we go. So, maybe you've seen me while I've been drinking. I think that's probably the main thing you've seen. There's There's other things, like I said, I don't really want to get into them until maybe a few days, week or two from now. Well, we're only about 7/16 of the way through the album. I would have to guess just by glancing upon the position of that song in the playlist. And I planned on making a full video for the album mix that I made back through Filth and Forth. Black Lava, that's what this song is. I like Satyricon in the fact that they're very realistic looking things that they sing about, and it's just that the mood, even though it's a little bit torturous, it feels good in a certain sense to just admit those things that really maybe even hurt, but that cause you pain, torture. I like their newer stuff on a certain amount. I like to listen to the infinity of time and space. I don't like to listen to it too much because I have done so in the past, and I became a little bit depressed. It's there's even a lyrical video for it. Makes some images that are pretty interesting. But man, music is a good thing to listen to, I think. Whatever you can. Myself, I prefer the darker, intense, very painful things. Because I understand in a certain sense. Volcano album. Might as well finish off with this wine. Come on, cool down a bit more. It's fucking hot in here, man. Turn up that heat too much. But if I open this window or take off this cover, it won't be as bright. You won't be able to perceive myself. Now this album, Now Diabolical, I'm pretty sure is what it is. It's a very enthusiastic album. It's great to get the fuck out of your place and go hang out with someone, Black Crow on a tombstone. Oh, gone. Very good bottle of wine. Glad I bought it. Not always good for a party. Some people don't like wine, I think. I like wine. It's relaxing. It fucking tastes good. A little bit sweet sometimes. Maybe this is a little sweet. But it suited me good, I think. Afterward, I shall take a walk through town. Maybe head down to the co-fair and see whatever the hell that they fucking selling as far as beef jerky. Or go after that to Dollar General. It's a little warm, that's for sure. This shirt is a dead man's shirt, and I'm happy that I still fucking have it. I hope I never rip it apart like I have done with other things. Sometimes you get enthusiastic. Sometimes the fang that you have to bear will cause you to destroy things or rip shirts apart. But this shirt is Luke Russell gave it to me. He was a friend at the hospital that he always wanted to be put out. And I did too while I was there. I wanted to be put out. I didn't want to see that shit, man. That fucking hospital was bullshit. Myself and Mr. Luke Russell, we hung out one night. We were having a good time. I think that that day, or maybe even shortly in the past, we had shared some poetry with each other, and Luke said that he had never shared that poetry with anyone else. His poetry was very good, I thought, because everyone has their own style, and the fact of the matter is that when someone hasn't professionalized their style like I have, it's a little bit more straightforward, maybe not as thought out, but nonetheless it is what they thought would fit that poem at the time, and he shared it with me. And later on that night, a nurse, which I don't blame, because I feel bad for her, that she said this. It was her job, to take care of the patients. We were up a little bit late and hanging out, and she told us that we should go to bed. And we did. We went to bed. I went to my own place, my own room, and went to bed. And Luke, he didn't go to bed. He stayed up. He must have been tortured in his thoughts for some reason. He ended up killing himself that night. And the nurse, I don't remember her name, but I know that she was crying the next day, and I did feel for her, because it really wasn't her fault. It's just the fact of the hospital. The very setup of the hospital. And Luke was dead. Anyways, that's a very intense topic. His poetry was good. I don't remember what I was saying because of the intensity of Luke's death. But this shirt was given to me by Luke maybe a week or two before he died. And also, he gave me a pair of leather pants. That I did tear them apart. And I turned one of the pant legs into a leather arm warmer. Yeah, feels good to wear that dead man leather. Luke was a good person. He considered himself a vampire spirit. And I think he still lives on. About probably 6 months later. And I don't really like to make you try to feel bad for me, but I do enjoy the seriousness of the fact of suicide of my friends. Later on, a friend of Luke Russell and myself, Jerry Conrad, committed suicide. And I've had energy exchanges with Jerry Conrad. I could have gone deeper, I think, but that's, it's just because I created a connection. Jerry was he was very alive. He was a very good person. The fact that he's dead, it's gonna happen to all of us, one time or another. So, and that's probably why you shouldn't feel bad about death or suicide, because it's gonna happen to you eventually. And back to what I was talking about earlier, you shouldn't be afraid of death. And I don't think that you should, I don't think you have to feel bad for people that have died. I believe that they still live on, and I'll get into that topic in later videos. Death it's a change for sure, no doubt. But the spirit of a person, in my opinion, does live on. In my understanding of things and in my past life recollections, the spirit does live on. Well, we don't appear to be done with the video, because we've got 2 more songs after this one. And I've got 2 cigarettes left. But the fucking temperature is fucking hot. Open this window behind the curtain. Nah, I better not do that. People will hear what I'm talking about. I don't want my neighbors really knowing. Perhaps now is a good time for a chair. I think so. I'll be right back. Oh man, I hope you can still see me, but this fucking chair feels good. I think I'll have to sit in future videos at some point.
Shipwreck Bridge from Hell. This is part of the Godspeed on the Devil's Thunder album, which I recorded myself doing a cover of a song of the Death of Love. Fulfilling the original intention. I start licking like a flame. What difference does it make if you've enjoyed your wine and you're having a good time and people don't care? Or if they do, what difference really? I mean, if you don't feel good with your company, then what the hell are you even there for? If you're not having a good time, you might as well not even be hanging out with them. So I don't see any reason to hold back what you're thinking. Unless, of course, you're gonna get murdered or some shit, stabbed with a knife in the chest 3 different times. Or in the stomach. Back. You're gonna have projectiles thrown into your back. Sorry, it's just a dream that I had the other night. But there is 1 cigarette left, and I haven't even finished the current one. It has cooled off slightly. Zodiac, for example, might emphasize that since I'm a Taurus, I would like to show that black light to you. That black light is a piece of shit. But even if it were a good black light, I would have hung it from the ceiling, and it would have been shining upon me. I had one in the past. That was a very fucking intense white light. I don't think that the Zodiac necessarily applies to everything. I don't think that you have to fashion your own life based on what the zodiac says about you, about your personality. Although it may have a certain relevance in certain senses of your personality, it's not your entire thing, especially if you've had past lives. Because obviously you've probably had a different zodiac in your past lives. And if you can draw influence to formulate who you are based on who you were, then a past life it's a good thing to have. But it doesn't matter whether or not you remember those things. At a certain point, you may want to recollect those things just to draw upon the sum of the experience and better yourself in privacy based on what you were and how you were. It's kind of what I like about rollers. You have to keep them going, which means you have to keep smoking. If you don't smoke a rolling for a certain amount of time, it will go out. You'll have to relight it. No one wants to fucking keep lighting a lighter all day long. Apparently my smoke's for enough. I'm glad for it. And if you've watched this video to this point, I thank you. And I also welcome you to join me on Facebook. Jason A. Hoffman. Pardon my inexcusable mention of the exact language used in the name. But I do like to be precise with things, especially in my poetry, and the name is, a person's name is the most important thing that they can have. I don't know if anyone has the name of God, Jehovah, or Yahweh in my perception and teaching that was poured upon me, or instructed in a very gracious way. But a person's name is something that you should take that pronunciation and spelling and the letters of the name and associate that person with their name and get to know the person based upon their name. Anyways, like I was saying, the name is a very important thing. One more song, and then our video will have completed. And, if you have stayed, then maybe something different will occur during your life in the near future. People have said I'm a pushover. People have said shit about me, no doubt, as they have surely said to you. The people that talk shit on you, or tell you what you are, in a sense they're giving you advice, and in a sense they're judging you. So you can also learn from what they've said. At the same time, you don't have to agree with them. Just take it as if someone that was driving along the road saw you and maybe even heard what you were projecting to them mentally and gave you back their feedback. You don't have to change because of what someone said. You don't have to take it to heart. A lot of things have been written about vampirism, as Luke was mentioned as. Vamping out is one of those things. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's okay to vamp out in the secrecy and privacy of your own home. And I will reference Don Henry to Behind the Closed Doors, which I would mention, because I take that man, Don Henry, very seriously. And because I experience the things that he has, I understand what he's saying, and I value it. I'm very glad that he has come out in public. And I think that maybe now even the man is suffering. I'm not sure. It's a difficult thing to deal with. But it can be dealt with. It can be made peace with to a degree. And you have to. You have to make peace with it. You have to understand that as something. It's an eternal blessing / curse. And you're going to have to deal with it for a long time. So to formulate an understanding and appreciation / expression of it's a good thing to do. Spending time by yourself, like I said, always being in public is not necessarily a good thing. You have to take time to relax and think, meditate. Just, form your interpretations of. I thought voiceovers would be enough, and I think it has been. Maybe I'll have that last one. Of the, what you have to live with. And I will cover this topic more thoroughly in the future video. The world is an illusion. And remember that you have your friends. Those are the most important people. And people that understand you and love you or like you for who you are the people that you should think about. Because everyone out there, they're on a shallower level, and they like to look at what they see and judge it just for that very minute, maybe a couple seconds that they think about it. But the people that you have connected with, people that you discuss things with on the phone or in person, those people really care about you, and you should stay with them. You should think about them, and you should care about your friends. So Because those are the only people that really care, who understand who you are, who are willing to listen to what you have to say. I recently had a 4 to 5 hour discussion with a person, and I'm not going to say who it was. It doesn't matter to anyone, because if you were to care or judge that person based on what we discussed, you might offend me in some way. I like to discuss things with people. I like to have connections, and of course it's never perfect with anyone. But you do what you can and care. You gotta care about your friends. Was it my friends? As you might have noticed, I've been in this room for a long time. It's probably even gotten dark now. Still somewhat light outside. However, that does conclude, in fact, our album. And you've heard from me, and I'm glad. I'm glad that you maybe have listened to the whole video. I hope you have a good evening, day, whatever it may be. And, don't feel afraid to comment on my YouTube. Don't feel afraid to add me on my Facebook if you like what I've said. Other than that, I do bid you all peace, and hope you have good fortune in your dealings with others.